Hello friends, myself Dr. Alka Mukherjee. I am a medical legal expert from Nagpur. Death in obstetric practice is usually a catastrophic event. Our patients, they are usually outwardly healthy patients with full of joy and happiness for a new addition in their family. And when at such a delicate moment, if any mishap happens, it is equally disastrous for the doctor as well as the patient. How to face maternal mortality in private sector? They say giving life should not mean risking death. The last enemy that shall be destroyed is death. What is maternal death? As per definition as per WHO, the death of a woman while pregnant or within 42 days of termination of pregnancy, irrespective of the duration and the site of pregnancy, from any cause related to or aggravated by the pregnancy or its management, but not from the accidental or incidental causes. According to this definition, it is again further subdivided into direct maternal death and indirect maternal death. Direct maternal death is because of the obstetrical causes, and indirect maternal death is because of pre-existing disease or disease developing during pregnancy. The next entity is non-maternal death. That means it is in accident and in malignancy. The major reasons for maternal death, as we can see from this pie diagram, it is the hemorrhage, PPH, followed by hypertensive disorders of pregnancy, obstructed labor, anemia, HIV, AIDS, sepsis, and many complications of abortion. Is obstetrics is that simple? 2 plus 2 is never 4 in obstetrics. One should identify the complications and try to prevent those complications as shown in this diagram. They say medicine is a science of uncertainty and an art of probability. Death in obstetrics is always a catastrophe. What is the first and foremost reaction of the relatives as soon as they receive the news of death of their patients? The first reaction of the relatives is anger and anguish. First of all, it is they do not believe this particular news. It is followed by anger and anguish. They want immediate explanation from the doctor. Many a times it is not possible for the doctors. They themselves are not very sure about the cause of the death, and that leads to suspicion and agitation. Sometimes they want financial waiver, they want immediate compensation, they want immediate police action, they want leaders, they want pressure, they put on the pressure on police to arrest the doctors. What relatives do in such situations? There is a general belief, hale and hearty patient coming for delivery and sudden news of death, doctor is definitely negligent and that has caused the death of the patient. Once they absorb that primary shock, they put the pressure on doctor for death certificate. They do not want postmortem to be done. They can manhandle you, they can destroy your hospital and your property, they can threaten you, they can lodge a criminal complaint, they can insist the police for arresting the doctor, they can invite media to spread the news, they can demand money. What is the reaction of treating doctor? The doctor's emotions, they pass through the whirlwind. There is an initial sense of panic, then there sits the sense of guilt. The panic, why this has happened, where I was wrong, why it has happened to me only, did I do anything wrong to my patient? And then there sets the sense of guilt. Was the death result of incompetence on my part or negligence on my part? And had I seen the other professional factors, or I could have avoided the complications? Then there sets in fear. How I am going to face the relatives? What will they think? Will the police harass me? Will the doctor start thinking of protracted court trials which he or she has seen somewhere else? The media trials, suffering by her and her family. The immediate reaction of the treating doctor, usually the first and foremost reaction anyone can think in this situation is to run away from the situation, or immediate cover up and unnecessary explanations are given to the patients. Want to settle the matter as soon as possible by political and financial means. Want to fight the situation overconfidently. Again, one of the factors is one want to dismiss the relatives and not giving proper explanation, or retaliate the abuse by abusive language. Any of these things will prove wrong for the doctor, wrong for his or her career, worsen the situation. One should avoid all these things, not even by the body language. The common remedies in grave problems, whenever you realize that patient is serious or patient is dying, apart from necessary medical and obstetrical management, what should you do? You should set aside your ego. Just call for help. Call your senior colleagues, call your anesthetist, call your physician, call the surgeon or the staff, senior staff, and call the referring doctor. What are the advantages of calling help? It is proven in front of the patient that you had taken a multidisciplinary approach. It reflects your concern and dedication for best treatment to your patients. It helps in medical management. Sometimes you tend to forget some medical management in managing the patient. The senior doctor can guide you regarding this medical management. Some senior person can help you in legal matters. At the same time, they can provide you emotional support. Their role as a pacifier cannot be denied. Situation diffuses very fast whenever we have colleagues with us. One can have a task force in support of the local body, specialty like society, our Gynec Society or IMA, and one can discuss the problem with the society and prepare a logical sequence of events. That is very important. Still, if the situation is out of control, one should call police, but always keep a copy of law ready, because many a times police don't know about the law that doctor should not be arrested. Should we transfer a very serious dying patient to a higher center? The answer is yes and no both. If the patient is critical over an extended period of time, option can be given to relatives that we should transfer the patient to a tertiary center. If a patient is critical over a short period of time, it is better not to transfer. There are few reasons for this reasoning. It may depict that you are shirking the responsibility. Second thing, doctor doesn't want death to occur in their own hospital. That is the subtle message which goes to the relatives. Bigger hospital may refuse such admissions, and public hospital doctor may criticize the treatment given by the referring doctor. So when to declare death? Should it be done immediately, or what should be done prior to declaring death? Death is never declared instantly. Time has to be given for resuscitatory measures and important documentation. What is document? Document is a case paper of patient, the examination paper, the indoor paper, the case sheet, as well as the admission form, the consent form, the descent form, the daily notes with signs, the lab reports, refusal notes, different consultants' opinion, nurses' note, temperature pulse, respiration charts, so many things. But all these documentation, all these notes, they should be on the hospital stationery in a legible handwriting. They should not be on a plain paper, and they should be chronologically written, always signed with date and time, with no scribbling, and preferably no change in the ink. Coming to documentation, they say legal defense is weak in 1/3 of the obstetric cases because of the incomplete or lost documents. Documents, they are the mirror image of whatever interventions we have taken. They form the biggest proof in the court of law. A smart and experienced lawyer can pick up made up documents record that can lead to criminal litigation against you or forgery. Whenever we land up in a difficult situation, one should be empathetic. Sympathy, courteousness, and proper communication is must. Don't be careless and casual in attitude. Go through the indoor case papers thoroughly. Any discrepancies in the notes written by you, the visiting doctor, the anesthetist, sisters, they should be corrected for any variations. You should make an effort to compile together a similar course of event by all concerned. One should prepare the list of drugs with details. All equipments used for resuscitation and treatment may be kept as it is. One should not move the body from the place where death was declared. See, this is a disparity chart between the doctor and the staff, wherein the surgeon, the gynec, and the anesthetist have written different findings in pulse, blood pressure, and pallor. So for this, you have to make a habit of daily notes. You should not leave your homework. As soon as the surgery is over, you should write down your notes daily. Certain do's and don'ts, certain important tips. One should avoid loose talks or blame games. Be careful in your comments and advise the same to your colleagues before declaring death. Avoid giving unnecessary information in front of the paramedical staff. Then how to break the news of death to the near and dear ones? It is only way, that is effective communication, which is the key to avoid any medico-legal problem. One should prepare well in advance. For this you have to practice years for that. You should arrange for adequate time, privacy, and no interruptions should be there when you are talking with the relatives. You should turn off your mobile, or you should keep your mobile on silent mode. Ask your staff not to disturb in between. No other patients in between. You should review all the relevant clinical information. You should rehearse it mentally many times. Identify the words or phrases, what you are going to say or what you should not say. You should prepare yourself emotionally, because you are also emotionally very much trained. Again, you should introduce yourself to everyone, because many of the relatives are new now, because after listening to the news they have come. So you should take a center stage. You should introduce yourself to everyone. Explain in presence of your colleagues, which is the safest way. Consultation chamber is the safest place, because you have a table intervening between the relatives and the doctor. Sitting arrangement is proper. Create a wall of power between you and relatives. Never go directly in the mob, because they can manhandle you in anger. You should build a therapeutic environment and relationships. Break the news in a highly polite and dignified way. No extreme emotions like cry. Be composed. Share your sorrow very thorough professionally. Though you are connected with the patient for entire 9 months, but this is not the time when you should cry. No repeated explanatory statements to be given in front of different people who demand explanation. Be patient. Be a good listener to their allegations and abuses. Use touch whenever appropriate. Sudden unexplained death needs to be informed to police, like death on OT table, sudden unexplained death in post-operative patients because of anaphylaxis, because of drug reactions, because of bleeding, or because of DIC. These are the deaths we need to inform police. You should communicate well. Ask what the family members already know. Be frank but be compassionate. Avoid any medical jargon or different terminologies of our medicine patients may not understand. Allow for some silence and tears. Proceed at the pace of family members. Let them take time to soak into that news. Allow time to answer the questions. Once you have told them, they are going to ask you many questions. So allow time to answer their questions. Inform them about the procedures that are likely to be followed after this. Acknowledge the pain of loss is often healthier than trying to remain objective. Breaking the news is the most difficult task in any medico's life. Immediately, sometimes necessary to declare death. It may be necessary that immediately sometimes we need to declare the death. The pros of this fact is it reflects transparency and less grumbling of relative. भाई डॉक्टर ने सीधे सीधे बता दिया कि डेथ हो चुकी है. The second cons is immediate violent reaction may be there. So it depends how you are going to tell the relatives. Second way of breaking the news is after covering up. It doesn't mean manipulation. You are keeping the patient on ventilator and then breaking news slowly after intensifying the situation step by step. But nowadays problem is that all people, all relatives, bystanders, they realize that extensions and pretensions, they are dramas. Then the third important way by which you can break the news is conveniently by your staff, nurse or servants. But is it good? Of course not. So how to dilute the gravity of situation? You should keep all the resuscitative measures ready 24/7 by 365 days. Your emergency trays with drugs within expiry date, resuscitation equipments and oxygen cylinders. For this, after each and every mishap or OT, you should check personally that your emergency tray is full with drugs, or at the end of the month if there are no emergencies or casualties happen, you are lucky enough, then you should make a habit of maintaining a register that so many medicines are there and each and every medicine is well placed in the emergency box, as well as they are out of expiry. All the relatives and bystanders to be out of room. You should ask them to stay outside. Inform the seriousness of health and assurance. All measures are taken for revival. High risk consent should be there, informed consent should be there. Dissents on the record papers, on indoor case papers, sign of relatives and witnesses. Court evaluates from time to time information has been given to the relatives or not. That is very important. That's why the order should be correct. Coming to death certificates and postmortem examination. The $1 million question, whether to issue death certificate or not. It is entirely a doctor's discretion to issue the death certificate or not. Just because relatives don't want postmortem, one can't give death certificate. There is no role of relatives' consent as far as postmortem is concerned. This is a medico-legal postmortem. A doctor should issue death certificate only when he or she knows the cause of death. It's always prudent in deaths related to our specialty, postmortem is preferable. Then how to inform police? This is a very important aspect. Before declaring death to relatives, you should inform your area police station in charge on your letterhead the name, age, sex and time of admission, date and time of delivery or operation, and finally the date and time of death of the patient. Please do not mention even the possibility or likely cause of death and ask the in charge of police station to come and take charge of the body and request him to send the body for postmortem examination to ascertain the cause of death. One should be always particular informing police in writing with acknowledgement taken on the black carbon copy of your letterhead. Do not hand over such a note to the relatives but send your servant or your personal near dear one. If information given on phone, the name, designation, badge number of the personnel must be asked and recorded on the indoor case paper. What is the role of police? The investigating officer is the police sub-inspector who will do the panchanama, who will record the statements of the doctors, the nursing home staffs, the relatives of the deceased, and they will ask for the indoor papers. We should give them photocopies of our indoor case papers. The indoor case papers, they should be serially numbered, the number to be written on right top corner, and the doctor and PSI should sign next to the number. If police insists for original case papers, we should not argue and never refuse. Doctor should lodge a protest with senior police officer later on. Certain salient features that may follow in sequelae to sending the body for postmortem examination. A death during surgery or post-op death is an unnatural death unless proved otherwise. As it is unnatural, the matter is usually referred by the police to the civil surgeon or HOD, head of the department or dean of nearby medical college for any negligence if their police feels. Then police is entitled to file a case under section 304A IPC. One should never contact postpartum surgeon because that may lead to problem from creating undue influence on the surgeon, postpartum person to corruption. The PM report can be challenged, video recording can be done, cross-examination of PM surgeon can be done. A copy of the postpartum report is your right. We can demand postpartum report under the Right of Information Act 2005. Police may normally book doctor under section 304A IPC if they conclude doctor is negligent, doctor is rash, but at the same time bail is available. It is the matter of right for the doctor. Procedure of bail is payment of security and signing the bail form. Some long-term sequelae, some do's and don'ts when faced with such a mishap. Patients' relatives may file complaints with the Consumer Court or to the Medical Council if police do not find any criminal negligence. Private complaints to the magistrate can be made, and he, after hearing, may direct the police to investigate further. Such a criminal case would normally go to a metropolitan magistrate and occasionally to the session court. If criminal proceedings are going on, other proceedings they are stayed. Coming to sterilization and or MTP death information. It should be given to the district health officer or civil surgeon, informed within 24 hours, and additional director of family welfare of the state within 7 days of death. You may have to face the local politicians, the social workers, and a trial by media. Be ready for that. At the same time, inform your insurance company, professional indemnity insurance, and hospital error and omission policy. Don't wait till legal notice. Negligent or are directly the cause of death of another person. Rashness or negligence is essential element under section 304A IPC. It carves out a specific offence when negligence causes death and that act doesn't amount to culpable homicide under section 299 or murder in case of section 300 IPC. When the intent of act or knowledge is the direct motivating force of act, section 304A IPC has to make room for graver and more serious changes of culpable homicide. What is the view of Honorable Supreme Court? The Jacob Matthew versus State of Punjab. Simple lack of care such as will constitute a civil liability is not enough for purpose of criminal law. There are degrees of negligence. A very high degree of negligence is required to be proven before felony is established. A mere deviation from the normal professional practice is not evidence of negligence. An error of judgment is not negligence per se. Higher the acuteness and higher the emergency, more errors of judgment. No sensible professional would intentionally commit an act of commission or act of omission which may lead to loss or injury to the patient, which may question their professional reputation. Just simply patient not favorably responding to treatment or surgery has failed, doctor cannot be liable per se res ipsa loquitur. The Supreme Court guidelines for governing the prosecution of doctors for offence of criminal negligence. A private complaint may not be entertained unless the complainant has produced prima facie evidence before the court in the form of credible opinion given by another competent doctor to support the charges of negligence or on the part of accused doctor. The investigating officer before proceeding against the accused doctor should obtain an independent and competent opinion from doctor from the government service. Impartial and unbiased opinion should be there. Accused doctor may not be arrested in a routine manner unless his or her arrest is necessary for further investigation or for collecting evidence or unless the investigating officer has doubt that doctor may not be available for prosecution. This is very important part, that is physician's bereavement. Breaking bad news is always an unpleasant task. There is intense emotional response from the doctor. They suffer emotional setbacks in silence. There are burnouts which have no relief. Providing care for a long time needs a strong doctor-patient tie. 31% of the doctors, they have strong emotional reaction to patient's death. 23% of the doctors, they feel disturbance. 6% they feel the feeling of grief. At this time you should take a professional help, acknowledge the situation. Sudden unexplained death is treated as an accidental death and it requires a very high degree of negligence to prove that it is a negligent and rash act. It is a cognizable and bailable offence. Coming to settlement of bills and recovery of bills, it's a very difficult situation, need more social, managerial and manipulative skills. One of the ways taking regular advance before the delivery, that is expected bill, is the best policy. Doctors currently, they are at a receiving end. People never understand the use of intellectual property, the brain used by the doctor in treating patients. Patients feel that it is the unnecessary bill, हमारा patient भी गया और bill भी भरना है. So far as the legal aspect and non-payment of bills, very few options are left. The first and foremost is forego and forget. Take an advance check, remaining amount some legal option. Reduce your bill, give concession. Use mediators, file a civil suit, recovery of bill, but advocate and court case and everything is so unbearable. You are not going to do that. Previous non-payment, refuse to see or treat. It is right to refusal to see the patient. So should we refer all the patients? Of course not. Prevention of negligence, these ABCDs, they are helpful. One should have attentive behavior, take additional opinions, behave properly, good communication skills, compassionate behavior, take proper informed consent, communicate with your patients, display your certificates, documentations are must, discharge cards are must, all reports should be filed in the patient's file. E stands for expertise, efficiency and empathetic behavior. Forgery should be avoided, and I stands for professional indemnity insurance and hospital insurance. Few defenses are with us. We should have a proper registration of medical council. We should take informed consent. Our record should be legible and proper. Reasonable skill, care and safety precautions should have been taken. No guarantees or assurances should be given while admitting the patient. You should remain in your pathy and specialty, and you should place a qualified locum whenever you go for a holiday. So friends, this is the way we can deal with the maternal death in private sector. It's very difficult, but still try can be given like this. Thank you so much.